Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's DAF Hayomi, Maseches Bava Metzia, DAF Tes. We are holding on Ches Amud Beis, 2 lines off the bottom. So right in the middle of a discussion regarding Rachav. If one is riding an animal, is that sufficient for Kinyan? Is that sufficient possession, sufficient hold on the animal to be considered an act of Kinyan, an act of acquisition? So let's say it's an animal which is a Metzia, he found it, it's Hefker. Is this enough to be Kaina? Tashma. Come and listen to this Raya. We're going to try to provide clarity from the following brayso. Shnayim shayimayshchen begamah, umanhigin b'chamar. So firstly, let's take a look at Rashi on the bottom line. We are meant to know that a chamar, says Rashi, darkei b'anhaga. How do we get a donkey to move? We drive him from behind, right? We strike him from behind and he gets going. But a camel, v'gamal darkei b'meshicha, he's led from the front. You pull him with with the reins or whatever. Okay, so the gamal is pulled from the front, and the chamar driven from behind. That's the derech. That's standard procedure. Now we have two people who apparently found this animal, and they're trying to make a kinyan. Shnayim shayimayshchen begamal. They're both pulling the camel from the front, or leading a donkey from behind, or one on one. Or we have one fellow pulling the leash from the front, and the other fellow driving from behind on the same animal. In this fashion, they are both kind of the animal. They have to, split it. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no. You have to approach the animal and be kind of the animal using the proper procedure. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, lo'elam lo'ikana. It's only considered a kinyan if you do it properly. Standard procedure, which is like this: if it's a camel, you're pulling the leash from the front. A donkey from behind. You do it properly, fine. Otherwise, it's not a kinyan. Now, let's go back to the Tanakama. Katanim, yes. So what does the Tanakama tell us? It doesn't matter any which way you do it. Right? So you can pull it, you can lead it, but only that works. Only one of these two manners of kinyan work. But just riding on it, that's not sufficient. Right? So sitting on the animal, now we're speaking obviously that it's not moving yet, I was going to say in a minute. So just sitting on the animal, Rachav, he's not moving because of you, you're just sort of enwrapped on the animal. That doesn't work, that's not a kinyan. So it's a ride that Rachav is useless. Says the Gemara, no. Hu adin afilu Rachav, perhaps even Rachav would be sufficient to be kaina. So why does the Tanakama mention only these two manners of kinyan, Moshech and Hanik? What happened to Rachav? Rabbi Yehuda. The reason is because he's trying to oppose Rabbi Yehuda's shita, who holds that it has to be done properly. The Amar Ashatei Meshicha B'Gamal, V'Anaga B'Chamar. He holds that by a Gamal it's only Meshicha, by a Chamar only Anhaga. Kamash Malan. That's the point of the Tanakama. That even if you switch it around, it works. So he said it's not discussing all forms of kinyan. Perhaps Rachav can work as well. But he picked Moshech and Hanik to highlight the difference of opinion between himself and Rabbi Yehuda. Iyachi says, well, if that's true, L'Ervinu, V'Lisninu, if both forms, Meshicha and Anhaga, can work according to Tanakama on both animals, why does the Tanakama sort of separate them? First he speaks about two people leading, two people pulling, one doing this, one doing that. Just bundle it together in one sentence. L'Ervinu, mix it together, L'Lisninu, and state it as one. Like this. Shnayim shayimayshchen v'manhikin. Just say like this. Two people who are either pulling or leading, whether it's a gamal or it's a chamar, it works. Simple as that. Shnayim shayimayshchen v'manhikin. Ben megamel, ben mechamar, it works. If the point is just to mention these two forms of kinyan, so just wrap it together in one sentence. Well, says the Gemara, it's not so simple. Ika chad tzad leikani. Although the Tanakama does disagree with Rabbi Yehuda, who says that it has to be done properly. Chamar only from behind, a gamal from the front. Tanakama disagrees, but only to a certain extent. There is one form which doesn't work. Right? So that's why Tanakama says two people are pulling the camel, that's legal, that's proper. Driving the donkey from behind, that's proper. And then he says like this. A third case. Oy or shahoya echad moishech vechad panik. We have one animal, but we're not sure which animal, by the way, it is. We're not sure yet. But one of these two animals, you can have both forms of kinyan working, meshicha and anhaga. But it only works by one of these animals. There's one animal that you can't apply both types of kinyan to. Now, which one is this? Some say meshicha b'chamor. That the one that doesn't work, according to Tanakama, is pulling a donkey. So according to Tanakama, when it comes to camel, he can tolerate both forms of kinyan. But a chamar must be driven from behind. Some say hanhoga b'gamol. That Tanakama would agree that when it comes to a camel, you can't strike it from behind, you can't drive it from behind, but a donkey allows for any form of kinyan. So bottom line, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you have to be specific. Hanhoga b'chamar, meshicha b'gamol. That's it. Tanakam allows for more, but up to a point. One of these two animals, we're not sure, there are two versions, will only tolerate one type of kinyan. Continues the Gemara. There were others who tried to bring a raya from the second part of the brisa to Shmuel that Rachav is not a proper kinyan. B'mida zu kana. Only this form of kinyan works, says the brisa. B'mida zu l'mutimai. What are we coming to rule out? Lav l'mutei Rachav. Oh, Rachav. Sitting on the animal, that's not sufficient. Loi l'mutei ifcha. No. Rachav is not part of the equation. We're not discussing Rachav. The brisa is just telling us that between driving the animal from behind or leading it from the front, it has to be done properly. You can't switch it around. Meaning the chamor must be from behind, the camel from the front. Well, then it's exactly Rabbi Yehuda Shita who says that has to be the suitable, the typical form of driving the animal. So why is the Tanakama this? It's the same like Rabbi Yehuda. Says the Gemara the same as before. He broadens it more than Rabbi Yehuda, but up to a point. There is one afkamina. Rabbi Yehuda holds that it always has to be done 100% properly. Chamar from behind, the gamal from the front. Tanakama disagrees, but even he agrees that in one instance you can't switch it. Some say the problem is if you do meshicha b'chamar, you can't pull the donkey, it doesn't work. Some say the problem is on haga b'gamal, to drive the camel from behind, but the chamar allows for both. Bottom line, we thought we had a raya regarding Rachav, we discounted the raya. Toshma, comes another raya. The brisa says, Echad Rachav Chamar, Ve'echad Tafaz b'Moiseira. Moiseira is the reins. So we have a Chamar, Metzia, Hefker. Ruvain's Rachav, sitting on the Chamar. Shimon's in possession of the reins. What is the halacha? Zeh kana Chamar, V'zeh kana Moiseira. Ruvain acquires the donkey, Shimon the reins. Okay? So bottom line, Shmamina, we clearly see from here, Rachav Kani. Ruvain is kind of the Chamar due to being a Rachav on it. Apparently it's a proper kinyan. Oh, just as we said the other day, that there are two forms of Rachav. You can be sitting on the animal in stationary form, animal's just sitting in place. Or you can have a Rachav who's actually thumping with his legs and getting the animal to walk. So by facilitating that walk, that usage, that's an act of acquisition, like a mashicha. It's like bringing the animal into his possession by controlling the functions of the animal. If that's the case, nikni nami Rachav b'Moiseira. If he's doing a manik b'Raglav, he's doing a proper kinyan, he should get not only the donkey but also the Moiseira. Rashi says, you know why? The Moiseira, the strap, is like an ornament. It's bottle, it's subordinate, it's secondary, it's attached to the animal, it goes together with the animal. Whoever gets the animal gets the Moiseira. Emo, you're right. Let's revise the halacha. V'zekana chati moisera. Reuven acquires the donkey and half the reins, and likewise Shimon gets half the reins as well because he's holding on to it. So they have to split the reins. Asks the Gemara, I don't understand. How does Shimon, the one that's grabbing the reins, have a kinyan? Half of it is sitting on the animal. He didn't really pick up the whole moisera. Bishlei merach of kani. I understand why Reuven, who's sitting on the animal, is kind of part of the reins. The kamagbele ben das, because Shimon, who's picking the other side up, he's a ben das. He's an adult. He's a mature person. So the masa that Shimon is doing can help Reuven as well. Right? It's one act between Reuven and Shimon. So Shimon's assistance is beneficial to Reuven's. On Reuven's side of the reins as well, because it's one act of kinyan, so Reuven can benefit from Shimon's picking up, and he gets half of it as well. But how could Shimon get anything? But how did Shimon get anything? He's holding the moisera, very nice. But he never picked up the entire thing. The other half is sitting on a donkey. There was no act of hagbah on that. Right? So Reuven is kind of that side because it's part of the donkey. But as far as Shimon is concerned, there was no masa kinyan, like picking it up. Nobody picked it up for him. Says, well, you're right. Let's revise the halacha again. Reuven gets the donkey with the entire moisera. Shimon gets, you know what? What's actually inside his hand. Rashi explains, because that's like a full hagbah. It's inside your hand. Of course he gets that. Asks the Gemara, 1 second. Why is Reuven getting the moisera? Because Shimon picked up part of it. It becomes that masa kinyan gets applied to Reuven and helps him. Hi, Mai, how could you say that? Even if you'll tell me, even if you'll assume that it is legal for one person to pick up an item, a Metzia, for the sake of his friend. That's only Hani Mili Yeah, if I have you in mind, I pick it up for you, it's yours. But hi, this fellow Shimon is picking up the reins for whom? For himself. He's picking up for himself. If he's not going to be kind, like we said, how does his lifting it work for Reuven? It's not a successful kinyan. Omar Rabashi, let's revise the halacha once again. Reuven gets the donkey, and the part of the strap that's attached to the head, that's really like part of the animal. Rashi says, Uka chamor dami. You don't need a special kinyan for that. And Shimon gets what he actually has inside his hand, because that's a full kinyan. And the rest of the strap is nobody's, no man's land. Doesn't belong to Reuven or Shimon. Anybody can come and take it. There was no kinyan done on it. You know what? Let's go back to the original version of the Bryce. That what? Reuven gets the chamar, and Shimon the entire leash. Why? Where's Shimon's kinyan? It's sitting on the donkey. Listen to this. When an item is suspended from up high, like this leash hanging off the donkey, it's very easy for him to just snag at it, pull at it, detach it from the donkey's head. So since he has easy ability, easy access, easy potential to get the whole thing into his hands, it's considered a full hagbah on the entire thing, and he's kainet. The Gemara disagrees with this point. Levels don't matter. This idea presented by Ravo Berusi belongs outside. It's not, we don't incorporate it into our learning, because after all, he doesn't have it. He didn't lift it off the ground. It's still on the animal. Because otherwise, imagine a talis, right? She munachas, which is lying chetzi al gabe karka. Half is, one side is actually on the floor. The chetzi al gabe amud, the other half is suspended off a pole. Reuven walks over to the part that's lying on the floor, lifts only that part. Shiva comes and lifts the part off the pole. Here as well. Are you going to tell me the Reuven, who merely lifted the floor side, is going to be cutting the entire thing, because since the other side is suspended from up high, it's very easy for him to just slip it off. So we view it as though he already has it. And Shimon, who actually lifted it off the pole a minute later, doesn't get anything. Why working with this idea? Because because Reuben has the potential, has the ability to access the entire thing easily. You don't say that. We don't find any halacha, any mishnah that would indicate as such. Ella, rather, this idea presented by Ravo is unacceptable to us. Tashma, here comes another attempt at a raya to determine the status of a rachav, one who is riding on an animal. If one finds a Metzia out in the field and he rides it, umanik be'ir, he rides the animal out there, or if he's in the city, there he's not meant to ride, there he's actually leading the, he's driving the animal, leading it somehow, without actually being on the animal, kana. So in any one of these cases, he's kind of the animal. Bottom line, rachav works. Says the Gemara, chanami manik be'raglav. Rachav here is speaking, actually, he's kicking and getting the animal to go. That's a mashicha. Yachi hani manik. If the animal's moving, then that's just another version of manik. Why the redundancy in the brisa? You're right, Trey Gavni manik. The brisa just cites two types of manik. Fine. Yachi, if that's the case, that rachav is actually riding along with the animal. Rachav be'ir my time eloikani. So why only out in the field? It should work in the city as well. It's a proper mashicha. Amar Kahano. People typically don't ride through the city. They hold the animal by the leash carefully. So you have to do it in the proper way. It's about propriety. Right? That determines a successful kinyan. If that's the case, if one lifts a wallet on Shabbos, off the street, to be kaina. It's not usual to pick up a mukta item on Shabbos. Are you going to tell me he's not kaina because it's not the derech? Apparently, farfalon, whatever he did, even though it was not proper, done is done. After all, he made a kinyan. As well, if he rides through the city, although it's not standard procedure, but after all, he did it, he's kaina. So why doesn't it work? Rather, says the Gemara, we're not speaking about a found item. We're speaking about a buyer and a seller. The seller tells the buyer, look, you want my animal? Sure. But do it properly. As per accepted, norms. The way people are making it. And people do it in town by being manik. Nobody rides through the streets. Now, one second. Says the one we have some exceptions to the rule. If it's the middle of the street, people do ride through the street. Rashi says because if otherwise if you're holding the animal, people might just walk through and it might get disconnected and detached. So in the street, that's okay. We have four exceptions. If you are a prominent, important person, it's not the derech to just walk with an animal. You sit on the animal, you ride it. Kani. So if you do it this way, you're kani as well. Likewise, if you're a woman, kanya, because she doesn't pull animals in the street. If he's a lowly man who's not really particular about his prestige and honor, so even on a side street, he's accustomed to riding in front of people. There's no issue there. So we have four exceptions to the rule. In the street is okay, Adam Choshev is okay, Isha is okay, a lowly man is okay, but barring these situations, Rashi says, for instance, an Adam Beinani, an average person, not too important, not too lowly, and it's a side street, and it's a man, so it's a derech of tznius, not to sit on your animal, rather to walk alongside it and lead it. Boy Rablaz, here comes another shaila. Reuben tells Shimon, you can make a mashicha on, my animal here, but not to acquire the animal. Rather, liknois kelim she'oleh mau. There are some kelim sitting on it. I want you to do mashicha on the animal, and that mashicha will be applied to the kelim and make them yours. Mau, what is the halacha? Now, first of all, liknois. The word liknois just means try to be kaina. Go ahead and try and make the kinyan. Miyama likni. Did he really tell him to be kaina? Did he allow him to be kaina? Liknis just says, okay, do it if you want. Ella, rather, he did say kni. Meshech be'emasu ukni. Kelim meshele mau. Please do mashiach on my animal and use that as a kinyan for the kelim on it. But you're not being kind of the animal. You're just utilizing the mashiach of the animal for the kelim. Does it work or not? Shall we say the Mashiach on the animal can be applied as a kinyan on a kelim, or not? And Tosfos explains, it's different than picking up a box and being kind of everything within it. That's pretty obvious. Of course that'll work. Here it's an animal. Animal walks. Walking is different than Mashiach. It's a different type of act than Mashiach on the kli. It's an independent walk. It's a totally different, So who says that can work as Mashiach on an inanimate object? Amar Rava's Rava response. Let me try to explore this. Suppose V'i Amarle Kni Behema Vikni Kalim. Suppose, okay, you're speaking where he's not giving him the animal. Suppose here's the animal with the kalim. Mikani kalim, does it work? Meaning you're assuming that wouldn't be a question. Of course, why? It's not so simple. Because let's break it down step by step. Take the animal and take the kalim. So he's going to make a Mashiach on the animal, which becomes his now. And now, how is he going to be kind of the kalim? Through chatzar. Because the animal is now his possession, like his property, which allows anything within it to be acquired as well, through kinyan chatzar. Problem is, mikani kalim, how can it be kind of the kalim? By using the animal as a chatzar. It's a moving chatzar, chatzar malechasi. The chatzar malechas like kana, a moving chatzar has to be stationary, piece of property. Rashi says, like your rooftop, like your chatzar, something which is secure, right? But a moving chatzar, that's contradiction in terms. By definition, it's not a chatzar. The chatzar malechas like kana. V'chitema perhaps keshamda, who wait until the animal stops walking, and then he will use it as a chatzar. That doesn't work, because by its very essence, it's a mobile entity, which doesn't fit the description of chatzar. If you have an entity that if it would be in motion, it cannot be used as a chatzar, cannot make kinyan. So likewise, even if it happens to be standing at the moment, it doesn't work either. Even if it's standing or sitting, it doesn't work. So apparently, when Rava, when we assumed before that if he would give him the animal as well, it can work for the kalim, why was it so pashut? Because we're speaking that the animal is tied up, not going anywhere. So by its very entity, it's a stationary being, and that could serve as a chatzar. You're telling me a chatzar has to be stationary. What about a ship? Okay, let's say a person was traveling on a boat. A fish hopped into the boat. He's not going to be a koina. Here as well, the chatzar malechas, it's a moving chatzar, it's not koina. He says, no, it's different. Sfina, a boat, by its very essence, is a stationary being, believe it or not. Meinach naicha. It's the water pushing it, the pressure, whatever, the waves, that's moving it. The boat on itself doesn't move. So yeah, it can serve as a chatzar. I have another question. This is true. If this is the case, that something moving cannot be used as a chatzar, you have a woman walking in the street, she's moving, mobile, right? The husband takes a get and throws it into her lap, into her arm, or a basket perched on her head, in which she keeps her, utensils and stuff. You're going to tell me it doesn't work because she's moving? And we have a Mishnah Mesechas Gittin of Ayin Zayin, says Rashi, that it surely works. Harmalesi says the same idea. This basket is by its very definition stationary. The woman is moving. The kamaskaya to mitusa is moving beneath the basket. So the basket still remains a din chatzar and can be used as such. Says the Mishnah. A fellow is riding on an animal. He notices a metzia on the street. He turns to his friend who is standing on the sidewalk. Tznali, could you please hand it to me? And the fellow gets wind of what's going on. Natali grabs the item and he says, well, actually, thank you for the idea. It's mine. I was now kind of the item. Zachaba, then he is kind of, he's the owner. But once he gave it to the fellow on the animal, once he gave it to him, then he turns around and says, well, by the way, Omar, he claims, I really acquired it before I gave it to you. It's mine. You can know that. Too late for that, because he gave it to him without comment, we assume he had a mind to give it to him. Tanan, let's move over to Mishnah Maseches Peah. It's not Hassan. Misha liket es Peah. A fellow walks into a farm and sees Peah, the part that the farmer left behind in the corner for the poor people. So he picks it and he says, I actually have a brother who needs it. V'amar, he says, I'm not going to take it for myself. I'm picking it up for the sake of so-and-so who's a poor man. Or Beleza says it works. It belongs to that poor man. Your masa kinyan can benefit the other person. No, it doesn't work. Rather, you should give it to the first poor man that he finds. Let's explore the identity of this benefactor. Who's this person picking up the pay? Machlekes. So this discussion, this dispute of whether it works or not is only me'asher la'ani. If this visitor is a wealthy man, meaning he's not eligible to take he's not below the poverty line, which is determined, which is discussed at the end of Zachos Peah, 200 zuz, whatever. He's not below that, income level. He's considered an usher who's not entitled to Peah, and he's trying to acquire the Peah la'ani for the sake of an ani. That's the machlekes. Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, it works. You know why? We say a double migu, a double, sense. Migu di boy mafker nichse. First of all, even this usher has the wherewithal to become a poor man in a second. How? He makes all his assets and possessions and belongings hefker. V'ava ani turns into an ani. V'chazilei. So now currently, he's entitled to the payah. So since he has that ability, that potential, even in his wealthy state, hashtanam, even now, chazilei, technically, this payah is accessible to him. It's just a flip of a switch. So he has that access, that potential access, and therefore, since he has potential for himself in this payah, zachi namel chavrei, he can make the kinyan for the other ani as well. So even though it's 2 steps removed, we do this double migu, and he can have access to the payah. If he were to be poor and really eligible, fine. We say, okay, instead of taking it for yourself, you're taking it for him, that's fine. But this double step we don't do. But as we explained, if he would really be an ani, so there it's just a question of taking it for myself or taking it for him, all agree it works. Since he can take it for himself, he can choose to take it for his friend. That's Ula's approach. Ani la'ani, it works. Machlekes is only by Asher la'ani. Amalei Rav Nachman l'Ula. Why are you saying that? Rav Nachman disagrees. V'lei mamar, shouldn't you better say that actually me'ani la'ani machlekes? That even if the visitor is a poor man, the same machlekes applies. Why? How do I know this? From our Mishnah. Bava Metzia. In our Mishnah we discuss a Metzia. Now a Metzia is accessible to all. Right? You don't need special credentials to find a Metzia, to be Zeich in a Metzia. HaKoil anim esla. We're all like poor people with respect to a Metzia. It's an expression. Rashi says, we're all ksherim lischespa. Right? We all have the ability to pick up a Metzia. Utnan. And still what does the Mishnah say? A fellow is on the animal, right? He notices the lost item down on the sidewalk. He asks his friend down below, pick it up for me. Natale picks it up. He claims, it's mine. I'm not giving it to you. Zachaba. So the fellow who picks it up, it's his. Now Rashi explains, at this point in the Gemara, we figure that initially he did pick it up for the fellow on the animal. Right? So I'm on the animal, I asked my friend to pick it up. Initially he did pick it up for me, but now he's sort of changing his mind. Before he gives it to me, he says, actually I want it for myself. And the Mishnah says, Zachaba, it's his, not mine. You don't say Kana Chaver, you don't say his Hagba works for me. So now, it's all good and well if you'll take the other approach in that Mishnah and Peah. That even if the visitor was an ani, who has the ability, who has access, but if he chose to pick it for the other fellow, the Rabbanan will hold that it doesn't work, because you can't pick up an item for somebody else. Right? So that explains our Mishnah. Why this fellow can keep it for himself, Because masnisin mani rabbanon, it's rabbanon. Right? Not Rabbi Lezer, it's rabbanon. That if he's picking it up for me, it doesn't work. Right? And we explained the other day, because you can't just, take something off the street for somebody else. You're disenfranchising other people. You have no right to do that. So that explains the Mishnah. Eli Amris ba'ashiv ani machlekes. But according to you, Ula, that if the benefactor and this potential recipient both have access to the item, then one can make a kinyan for the other fellow. The machlekes is only if he's an ash. If he doesn't have access to this item right now, but if he would have access to the item, he can make the kinyan for the other fellow. We say migu, right? Since he could take it for himself, he could do the kinyan for the other fellow. So we're stumped on our Mishnah. Why doesn't it work? Hamani loy rabbanon v'lo Rabbi Lezer. So why in our case can the fellow say, look, I know I picked it up for, right? Because I picked it up for me, right? This fellow picked it up for me, but he can say, I want to keep it, right? How could the fellow on the sidewalk claim to me, the animal rider, that he's going to keep it? Once he lifted it for me, it's mine. He says, you have to switch around the whole case in the Mishnah. You're making a mistake. You're assuming he already picked it up for me. Now he's changing his mind. No, that never happened. He's claiming that from the get-go, from the outset, it was for him. He never picked it up for me. That's why it doesn't work. He claims that initially he picked it up for himself. Oh, it's a totally different story. We'll prove, in fact, that we're speaking about this case. Look at the second part of the Mishnah. Once he handed it to me, he claims, no, it was for me. Initially I picked it up for myself. It doesn't work. Now, why does the Mishnah even have to say the word tchila? Tchila b'sefer lamali. Pshita, it's obvious. Even if the person would not say the word tchila, that's what he meant, right? Tchila kamar, of course he means that he picked it up initially for himself. Once he gave it to me, of course it's too late, he can't take it back. So his whole argument is based on tchila. So it's understood that that's what he means. Why does the Mishnah have to add the word tchila? Ela lava kamashmon. Apparently the Mishnah is trying to stress something for us. Reisha dama tchila. That the first party, the first story, is also speaking as such. What was the first case? I see the thing on the floor here. Yeah, uncle, pick it up for me. He picks it off the ground. Right, and before giving it to me, he says, oh, by the way, I picked it up for myself. Oh, that's why it doesn't work. Because he never did a ma'aseh for me. So that's why it doesn't work. But otherwise, it can work, because ani la'ani works. V'idach. Now the other shita, the one that disagreed, and held that ani la'ani does not work. And the first case of the Mishnah, where I asked him to hand it to me, he picked it up. And the Mishnah says, he picked it up and he claims it's his, he keeps it. It's speaking even if he picked it up for my sake. But then he can turn around and can keep it, because even though he's ani la'ani, right, that's the phrase we use, meaning we both have access, we both have the ability to be zaycha, but that doesn't work. He can't make a kinyan for me. So according to that opinion, vidach, right? Tana sefer l'glid reish. So the word tchila in the second part of the Mishnah is coming to clarify for us regarding the first case. Meaning, that's the contrast, that's the difference. Sefer dama tchila, reisha d'li amar tchila. That only in the second case, it can only work. His whole argument is when he said tchila. But the Reisha is speaking even without tchila. And he's still going to keep it. Okay, let's just break this down step by step. We have two cases in the Mishnah. Right? Picture this. I'm on an animal. I notice something on the street. Could you please pass it to me? Fellow picks it up. Before handing it to me, he says, no, actually, come to think of it, I want to keep it. Mishnah says, it's his. But once he gives it to me, and he says, well, actually, I picked it up for myself. Right? We ignore that. Because once he gave it to me, without comment, we assume it was meant for me. Okay? So, according to this approach now, we're saying that only in the safe do we say tchila. Meaning that's his argument. Look, I took it for myself before I gave it to you. We ignore that. We don't believe him. But in the Reish, in the first case, there's no mention of tchila. It's not necessary. It's not part of the argument. First case was where I asked him to pass it to me. He picks it up and decides to keep it. Because even if he initially picked it up for me, it doesn't make a difference. You cannot be Zaycha and Metzia for somebody else. Even if he picked it up for me, it was not tchila for himself. He picked it up for me. And then he changed his heart. And he had a change of heart, decided to keep it. Before he gave it to me, it's his. Okay, let's just recap today's DAF. So we discussed the status of Rachav, right? Is Rachav going to be a kinyan or not? We're not sure. Well, certainly if he's manik baraglav, as he's being Rachav, it works. We discussed how to be kind of a gambel, how to be kind of chamar, how to be kind of leash, hanging off the chamar. We discussed the idea of Chatzer Mahaleches, Rav's Chiddush. Chatzer Mahaleches is Naikana. We discussed interesting distinction between an animal that's walking, or an animal that's tied up, or a boat, or the kalsa perched on the Isha's head. These are called Chatzer Eimedes. They're not Chatzer Mahaleches, they work. Then we discussed the Mishnah with the two cases, and we had a Mishnah in Pei as well, with two approaches. Ulu's Chiddush is that the whole discussion there is when it's 2 steps removed. He's an usher trying to get the pay for his friend who's an ani, so that's 2 steps removed. Still, Rabbi Lezer says he can make himself an ani, and if he's an ani, he can be zeicha for his friend. Rabbanan say no, that's too far removed. But if he was really an ani, it's only 1 step removed, meaning he's doing it for his friend, that's okay. And he learns the Mishnah likewise. Rav Nachman disagrees. He says, even my ani la-ani. If you're kinda, you could be kinda for yourself and your friend, but squarely to make a kinny for him, that doesn't work. By a Metzia, by Hefker. And he went through the Mishnah and explained it accordingly. All the best to you, and Atzlacha Rabbah.